The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the New Media Factory. Some programs on this network might include strong images and language and may not be suitable for all audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hi everyone, welcome to the new episode of the theBobberyCast here at Beyond the Box in One Rockwell and hosted by New Media Factory. After 2 weeks we're back. We have a guest in the background, Jim Ayson of Smart DevNet. Our other guests are John Arce of Webgeek, Ken, and of course co-host Jay Fajardo. And today's topic is, I would say, beer, but we didn't have enough yet, so we're actually going to start with last weekend's 4SQHackDayGeeks. Hackday. Guys, want to introduce the event? What happened? I heard once you're done trying out how fast the monitor reacts to your bottle can.
Because my beer looks like Mars.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah,
look
it's
at that.
because it's green.
My beer looks like Mars. Awesome. Okay, go.
So you hosted the event, Ken?
Oh yeah, I hosted it. It was like my first, gig outside of school, and it was fun. It was awesome. There's a lot of people there, and I don't know. It's exciting. It's an exciting event. And John, could you explain how it went?
When was it? Last weekend, right?
Yeah,
Saturday?
last weekend.
December 1.
Was it a 24-hour thing?
Oh no, it's a 9-hour hackathon.
Oh, 9 hours, yeah.
Yeah, we started with Chito Bustamante talk about Solomon app, then Cyril of Smart DevNet discusses the Smart API, then Sajid from Foursquare discussed the Foursquare API.
Then this was the first
Then
Foursquare.
Ken announced the team.
Yeah.
The team is it's more fun in the Philippines, so more location
Oh, that was
based.
the theme. Okay.
Yeah.
Then this was the first Foursquare event outside of the Philippines.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it was the first Foursquare hack outside of the US.
Outside
okay.
of the Philippines. There.
They usually hold them in New York.
Oh,
And I think by special request, we asked if we could have one in Manila. So they said, okay, we're going to send over a Foursquare engineer. And that turned out to be Sajid Mahmood. He's on their platform team.
How many has Foursquare had so far, even in the States, even in New York?
I think they've had about 2 or 3.
Okay.
They built it as the Foursquare Global Hack, but since Foursquare is really based in Manhattan, they have it in New York City.
Right.
And have it every year. And well, every time I talk to them, they say, we're such a small company, we don't have the resources to go down to Asia. So we said, well, if you fly over here, can you give one? So they said, yeah, sure. That's great. Apparently, the Philippines is a pretty big Foursquare country. I don't know the exact rank, but we're somewhere in the top 10.
Nice.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I believe that.
So that was actually a really big thing to have here last week and here in the Philippines, because hadn't happened outside of the US yet.
Well, yeah, I guess it was a pretty big thing. We've been planning it for about 3 months now. So initially we were thinking of dates was going to be December 8th or somewhere towards Christmas, but we figured the earlier we have it in December, the better. So that's why it took place on December 1.
How many teams participated in this one?
We have 46 registrants, but only 26 show up. Yeah, and around 16 presented.
16
Yeah,
teams.
finish.
It was a good turnout.
That's pretty weird because 46 teams paid to register and only 26 showed up. So I don't know what's up with that.
They probably used Foursquare to look for the venue.
I'm pretty sure they can find it. It's Smart Tower.
No, they use an iPhone to use.
Apple Maps.
Oh yeah, the maps.
Did you see that video with Kimi Raikkonen and Apple Maps? That was brilliant. This week after Kimi Raikkonen at the Grand Prix, he went off track and he actually discovered that there was a road. So the internet did its thing. And the internet, a Brazilian team, two guys, they made a mashup video where basically he was using Apple Maps for his navigation and took him out on that track, off track, then on that path behind, and then Kimmy's line came like, leave me alone, I know what I'm doing, turns around. Apple Maps, new maps.
That's pretty cool.
That was cool, but yeah, like, how were the teams? The topic was, it's more fun in the Philippines, and with Foursquare. Well, what were the ideas at the Hackday?
You know, the what's this? The theme was very broad, so it's up to your imagination as to what you're gonna do. Then you'd see some people focusing on tourism. There was other people doing stuff like, you know, if you go to this place, you get gamification. You know, it's pretty normal hackathon. But I guess the only factor here is that it was the time constraint. There wasn't very much time. 9 hours is still a short stretch to develop something.
When did you announce the theme? On the day itself?
On the day.
Yeah, no. Before you hack.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Do you think that if you announced it like a couple of days before, that some, you know, more creative
We
ideas?
have a rule that no free work allowed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I guess that would spoil the spirit of the hackathon, you know, being hackers.
Right.
Yeah, it kind of spoils the fun. You want it to be just right before you think of an idea, bam, let's do it, you know? And that's all it is.
So who won?
Their team's called Team AAA.
Yeah,
They
AAA.
did Pick Explorer. It's like Pinterest.
A Pinterest for pictures
Yeah, you just search for a place and you get photos
of the place. How about the what was the name of the app?
Pick Explorer.
Okay.
Then second
I
place
think that was supposed to be a meme generator, right?
yes, but then
Depending on where you are, it selects different photos that are tagged close to the venue that you're at. You can choose from the photos and you can create your own. It's more fun in the Philippines photo.
oh yeah, they have
Oh,
like
it's-
the thing. It's something. It's more fun in the Philippines whenever you search.
It's like you with your beer bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's more fun on Mars.
Yeah, it's like I'm drinking Mars beer. Look at that, man. Look at that. Isn't that cool?
So when do you think the next one will be? Are you planning anything? What, Q1 next year? Or?
I think Jim will answer that.
You mean, Jay, you mean the next Foursquare event or the next event?
Oh, well, yeah, the next Foursquare event and maybe the next hackathon that we can look forward to.
Well, I think with Foursquare, we talked to them right after the event. I'm not actually in Manila right now, so I had to monitor everything remotely. But from what I heard is that they were pretty impressed with what they were able to do in the Philippines. So we might do another one next year, possibly around the same time, sometime December.
Okay, December next year.
So that's Foursquare for you. And then our next hack with the U.S. Internet company might have it, well, sometime first quarter of 2000.
Okay.
So
Can-
like, yeah.
Can you disclose the no?
Not yet.
No, I won't.
It's a surprise.
I won't disclose the company, but it's a company about the same size of Foursquare with a similar type reputation. They also have a platform. They have an open API, so we're going to help them out promote their particular app in the Philippines.
Same
Nice.
as Foursquare.
So like in recent times with all those hackathons we had, we have seen and startup weekends, we have seen a lot of geolocation. Like when I was in Davao, there were at least 5 or 6 pitches about geolocation, improving tourism if you arrive. Jim, do you think Foursquare, especially here in the Philippines, where Foursquare is more and more picked up also by agencies in their campaigns, do you think Foursquare has now become the main player?
I don't know about being the main player, because if you want to do a geolocation app, there are other APIs that you can use. You can use Google's APIs and Open Maps, I think, and Nokia has their own. What Foursquare is claiming is that they have 50 million venues in their database. So even if you don't have an app that does an actual check-in, if all you want to do is pull in venue information and tips, Foursquare has a pretty big database, and you can build a database of your locations using the Foursquare API. One local application that does it very well is GoRated, GoRated.ph. According to Hackday Falsys, right? According to Hackday Falsys, they used the Foursquare API to build their database of venues, and they were able to do it a lot faster than if they used other APIs.
Yeah. I was yesterday, I was on GoRated because Raj thinks he's finally there, so we can finally start promoting the platform and write about it on the Bobbery. But he used it to build his, populate his database, but right now I don't think he should use the API more aggressively. In the way it doesn't do what we just spoke about, what you did for a friend of yours, it doesn't do autocomplete yet.
Oh, I did.
On GoRated.
Oh, GoRated, okay, yeah.
But Raj, I'm happy to see after all the struggles he has gone through in recent months, issues with the site, with the code, that he's getting there. And that will be cool. And also, I have a question. If you want to build something geolocated, when someone asks me, what do you think of the concept? I always ask them, how are you going to convince me to leave 3 years of check-ins on Foursquare behind? Leave my social graph behind.
Well, I think in the case of Foursquare, they use the concept of check-ins and gamification as some sort of a gimmick to crowdsource the creation of venue information and tips. So for the general public, it was all about just becoming mayors and getting badges every time you check in. But at the end of the day, it turned out that Foursquare was able to amass this huge database of 50 million venues, and that's really what the developers are going to be leveraging on.
Yeah,
I agree.
You know what I really like about Foursquare is that, like a couple of years ago, people, you wouldn't think to check in at where you at. First, Foursquare created a habit out of their product, and it's quite a big thing now.
Oh, there's a famous quote by Dave McClure, remember? Right.
Of 500, sorry.
Yeah, 500 startups. When Foursquare came up, and he, I can't say it verbatim, but there's a lot of curse words in the quote, of course. And he said that no one's gonna
really
check in, and this
And
check in bleep.
And then now we are already at the era of apps like Highlight, Circle Me, where you just show where you are. It runs in the background.
Well, the Web 2.0 Expo of 2011, the theme was really location-based applications. That was last year. This year was big data, right? But last year, location-based was the big thing. And I think it's already reached that maturity level that, people are now, there are APIs that are mature enough to use. So we can probably expect that next generation of applications that take advantage of.
I think in geolocation, what we'll see next is geofencing picking up. With apps like Highlight, Circle Me, which I also think are the future of digital advertising. And they run in the background. Basically, here at Beyond the Box, I walk in and I get a notification there's a promo happening. And at the same time, they can automate it and it automatically checks me in.
Wouldn't that be a little bit creepy?
Yeah, but you don't have to use it. It's the same as what Dave McClure said. No one is going to be interested in saying, hey guys, I'm here. Except that he forgot Scoblizer. Who was all over the place at SXSW, because that was where Foursquare was launched. I think in 2009, Jim?
South by Southwest. Around 2009, 2010. It was Foursquare and Gowalla. Those two companies. No, but the thing that you've mentioned about location being very important. Well, right now we see the location and maps are really important because it's what's driving a lot of criticism about iPhone 5, right? Apple Maps are supposed to be crappy, and it turns out that a lot of people were very dependent on Google Maps So when Apple Maps didn't perform as good as it should have, then that really caused a lot of problems for Apple.
Right.
And secondly, you were talking about location being always voluntary and opt-in. Sad to say, that's not always going to be the case because due to base station triangulation, a mobile operator can tell where you are at any time. It's just a matter of deploying an API so that other people can find that information.
You know, actually,
obviously, it has to be opt-in, right? But the truth of the matter is, it doesn't. As far as the operator is concerned, you don't need to opt-in for the operator to know where you are.
Like the guy from Smart, Cyril, he demoed a location-based API from Smart. It can locate wherever you are just using your phone number.
Yeah.
And that scares me.
But then that always happened. Like when I was in Europe and the mobile phones came out, the data specialist immediately said, hey, but triangulation, we know where you are. And the thing is, yeah, like, but if you think about it, imagine I'm a pedophile. And you would want, as soon as they know that I'm a pedophile, I use that number, you would want law enforcement to be able to track you.
Sure.
So, like, there are some levels where I don't think we can go around it.
Yeah.
Yeah, John mentioned that Cyril also introduced the Smart API. Are you guys opening up an API already for developers?
For location?
Yeah, or any
Yeah,
kind of
actually, there is an LBS API, but no, we haven't opened it up to developers, specifically because of the dangers that all you guys talk. But the business rules for deploying this have to be very, very well thought of before we can open it up.
Yeah.
Right.
And I don't think that right now, following the SOTO crime bill, cybercrime bill first version, that the time is right to take a risk like that, because I personally think, I love what the group did with the new Magna Carta. It is well written, but I also know people who work in law enforcement, and there is an issue. They've struck out a certain paragraph stating that law enforcement can request IPs, but only IPs from the ISPs, no personal data, and that was very well specified. I have lived in Germany, it's brilliant, like the government knows everything. ISPs have to save your login to the ISP and everything for 18 months, and server hosters as well, but it needs to be anonymized.
Right.
Which is, if you think about it, you don't get access to the telco database, so you don't know who that IP is.
Well, you know, here in the Philippines, I think it's very easy to anonymize yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got prepaid cards, you've got prepaid data plans,
And there is no...
your Wi-Fi hotspots.
Yeah.
It's so easy to anonymize yourself. That's why all, you know, they put all those things on
And I think
paper.
local DSLs doesn't use static IPs. You get your IP changes every time.
Yeah, but you know, you're not even going to take that risk if you're a smart hacker.
Yeah, of course.
Right? So, you know, get a piece, some throwaway Linux machine, and
I think the real hacker will not do anything without using Tor anyway.
Of course, yeah.
Which is developed by the American Army themselves. And like for the rest, I'm perfectly fine if law enforcement can ask an IP without extra data. And for the rest, if of course the rules are breached and the ISP or law enforcement request more information, then of course the case can fall apart. But if now you think about it, with the new cybercrime Magna Carta that they wrote, which I think is brilliantly written except for that issue, it becomes almost impossible for law enforcement to obtain a warrant. And at the end of the day, privacy issues aside, I say, you know, like, if you're a suspect in a case, the cops are going to wait outside of your door.
right.
They will know whether you went to that bar or not at that time, and that is the same if it's just an IP. So I see where they came from in the way of, yeah, but privacy and everything, and we don't trust the government that much, but it was one of what I think was one of the best written paragraphs in the SOTA crime bill. But yeah, so there I fully understand you, Jim, and I indeed do not think that the time is right there because of exactly the population will cry foul and probably not understand that it happens anyway in the background.
Yeah.
Well, you know that regardless of what's written on the cyber, what do you call it, the Magna Carta for internet netizens in the Philippines, regardless of what's there, the CIA isn't going to stop and read it. So groups like CIA, the KGB, they can all tap into these networks and find out where you are.
Right.
Yeah.
That's correct.
So
anyway, going back to any other, what are the other hackathons that you guys are taking off? Because there was a Rails Girls.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I was there. I was there. I was like the coach. I came in because my girlfriend joined, and I just wanted to chaperone.
Yeah.
And then I became a coach. It's weird, because like people were busy doing stuff, so there was a few people who could coach. So I went there and yeah, sure, I could be a coach.
So when you were there, was your girlfriend also there?
Yeah, she was.
Oh, okay,
she was.
just to make sure.
I specifically taught her, focused on her. I taught Janice. Janice from Proud Cloud. Yeah, I was her coach.
Nice.
It was fun event.
So I can blame you.
Really, I taught her.
So are you guys thinking of doing like they did in Singapore 2 weeks ago, startup weekend for girls?
Yeah, I think Milet is talking to the other.
Yeah, to GDG, Globe Labs Group.
Yeah, but I think what's more important is that they should bring in girls in tech here.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty popular now. There's a Singapore chapter, and they should bring it here. You know, it's a more general organization and movement.
Yeah, I think that's happening already.
Oh,
there was an event a couple of weeks ago called Rails Girls.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a Rails hackathon for women.
That's
So
right.
that's happening right now.
That's right.
Not right now. That's been happening so far.
Yeah, and but we should bring in more of these, like Geek Girls Manila, Girls in Tech. But Girls in Tech is a bigger.
Yeah, Girls in Tech
thing.
is entrepreneur.
Girl entrepreneurs, girl tech entrepreneurs, girl developers, girl designers. They're all.
There's also Pi Ladies.
Okay, Pi Ladies.
Pi Ladies.
Python?
Yeah.
Python developers?
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
Because Daniel Greenfield, the guy who brought PyCon here, his wife
Is a developer.
Yeah, she's
That's
at Pi
great.
Ladies.
Oh, we should actually have them over soon.
No, I don't think they. I think they're located in San
Cebu.
Francisco. I think.
Well, you know, I mean,
Office in
The connections are there.
yeah, whoever sets it up.
Those communities are usually very open if someone says, I want to organize that
of
locally.
course.
Right. Well, I think we need more of these hackathons, but like you mentioned, we can't have them too close to each other.
Yeah, right now I think the last 4 months were brilliant in the tech scene in Philippines.
Yes.
I think it was you or Rafael who said, I don't have weekends, I have hackathons. But I think right now there are a little bit too many hackathons in the way. You've just finished one weekend, you may have one, you think that's a good idea, and you're already thinking, oh, in 5 days I'm at the next one, what am I going to do there? And yes, I fully agree, those hackathons, they raise the quality of the developers, the feedback, the mentoring model is slowly but surely taking off. Developers are seeing value in that, also founders, except that with the high pace of hackathons, there are very few founders who come out there. It's hackathon after hackathon. There is no time to sit down, and we barely see any new startups come.
You know. I don't want to strike controversy or anything, but you know when.
No, please do.
We love it.
Oh, okay. when company, G does something, company, it's like they're all doing things at the same time, and thus I have a rule. It's called the Ken rule. Whenever G and S has the same thing, I don't go to any of them. Just stay at home, watch TV.
You should become a writer for the Bobbery. The Bobbery has that occasionally as well.
No, I just want to say something about the whole hackathon mania that happened in 2012. Yeah, I did hear that people were suffering hackathon fatigue already. But I'd just like to point out that it was only 2012 that the hackathon really became a mainstream thing in the developer scene in the Philippines. Right. Prior to hackathons, and I can remember this as far as way back as 10 years ago when I was doing developer evangelism for Microsoft, a developer event was just a sterile, like a conference. And you go over there, you watch some speaker, you'd listen, you'd see a lot of PowerPoints, you'd go home with maybe some demo CDs, and that was it. There was really no chance to try out your ideas right there on the spot. The thing about what hackathons did is that they revolutionized developer events. So they no longer just become passive events where you just listen to some guy talk about some technology. You also get a chance to get your hands dirty and try out code right there on the spot. And so when you go home from the event, you feel more creative, more fulfilled about what you've just learned, rather than just listening to someone speak for about an hour. So I think that's basically what hackathons have brought to the local scene. It's just unfortunate that maybe everyone had the same idea at the same time, but I think we'll be settling down more in 2013 and have them more spaced apart.
Yeah, I think once all the hackathons are over, December and January, the developers are going to be looking for it again. That's why, even in Proud Cloud, we have our own hackathons. Well, we have Days of Thunder, but we decide, hey, let's have a hackathon.
Oh.
And we do stuff.
And maybe, I guess it's time for us to move on from the just one-day events into something like 3 days. Yeah,
3 days.
A lot of people in the room.
Because more participants.
Give them lots of Red Bull and coffee. Just do your thing. Code.
The hackathons finally arrived, and they should stay, because even for those who don't want to fund something, we will see the quality of the developers improve with all the feedback and everything. It is a golden opportunity for the developer who starts his career working for an employee and 20 years later is still there. And
I don't know about, Google has had their developer events. And I think their technologies and their, the Google Labs and all that is a much richer environment for solid hackathons, right? But they've had theirs for a couple of years already, but it hasn't, gotten any kind of a cool factor as far as hackathons are concerned. It's a Google developer event.
Jim, do you think we could get Google?
I think Facebook is really on the forefront when it comes to hackathons, because if you've ever visited the Facebook campus, you'll see driveways called Hacker Way. They have this big sort of like a square in the middle of the Facebook campus called Hacker Square, and they still have their Friday night hackathons every time they need to roll out some new feature. They usually do it in the form of a hackathon. So in terms of big companies that have really taken the hackathon culture and made it part of what they do, that would be Facebook. I think more Facebook than Google.
Yeah, but I'm talking about Google's developer events that they've had, right? It's a hackathon in some ways, but somehow the personality of the event hasn't gone there yet.
Well, I think they need to bring that more to the Philippines. Like, from what I know is that they weren't always called hackathons. Google used to call them code jams.
Right.
And there would be code jams in different parts of the world. Now, recently we had the 5th anniversary of Android. In Europe, Android 5, Android V as it was called, was celebrated through a series of hackathons in different countries in Europe. So they've been doing that. They've been doing that outside of the Philippines. And actually, even in the Philippines, there are a lot of GDC hackathons taking place.
Yeah, that's right.
And they have picked up in recent months also. I've worked a lot with the people of, no offense Jim, but with the people of Globe Labs. They have been very quick on the ball with GDG events. But I also think, like, in many countries, for many people, Google right now doesn't have that cool factor anymore.
Yeah.
Like, go to someone and tell them that Gmail was a result of the 80/20 project.
Right.
Half of the things that have flown in Google plus Hangouts, like taking notes and everything, were actually things that were before in Globe Labs. I do not think that many people right at the moment, there's more exciting companies. Facebook, they still have this beer keg culture and everything in their name. And I think that could have played a factor as well in, if right now you think Google hackathons. Here in the Philippines in recent years, Google has had a lot of focus on map editor events. But slowly but surely there are more and more. Of course, there's the Google user groups, but also Google business groups and everything.
Yeah.
There have been a lot of events in last quarter as well.
But I think...
I don't know about that, because we've worked with GDG in a lot of hackathons as well. We've had the hackathon for social good in Cebu a couple of months ago, and we did that in cooperation with GDG Cebu. What I would probably say about GDG, and I hope no one gets the wrong idea, is that the personalities aren't really so in your face. They're like kind of quiet guys, you know? Maybe there needs to surface a more active, more hyper personality in the local GDG groups to really push it.
Right. Probably, yeah.
I think there should be like one person to represent and be like all energetic and...
Well, they need an evangelist. You're talking about a real evangelist, I guess.
Yeah.
Who's more...
Who's all out there for...
yeah.
How am I doing as a Webgeek evangelist? Am I doing good?
You're doing pretty good, Ken.
Oh, thanks, Jim. Thanks. Means a
So,
lot.
like, are you also an evangelist for freelancer.com?
Every developer
No. I work
for hyper
freelancers.
evangelists like.
You were saying, Jim?
Doing great.
You were saying?
Yeah, I was saying that Ken's doing a good job. I think every developer group needs to have a hyper evangelist out there who's actually like over the top. Like we have Paul Paho for that, right? So we need more people like Paul, more people like Ken. That's the thing I've noticed with GDG. You know, the person I work there most of the time is Shell Gray, and she's nice, but she's not like a really exciting person to really drive GDG.
Yeah.
So maybe they need to bring more people up and in front and in your face for the developer community.
Okay.
No.
Right.
First of all, Jim, thank you. and Shell, I like Shell. She's a nice person. I mean, too nice, I guess. Like,
Too nice.
I think it also has, if you're that evangelist, that person out there, you really need to say like, there are spotlights and I want to grab them because I need them to promote what I'm doing. And of course, not everyone with a tech background likes that. I mean, like Jay is the first one to say like, yeah, I'll speak, but I'm not too focused on being in the spotlight. John, the same.
Yeah.
Two big names, but it's not that brand. And I think that Shell also kind of falls in that category. Like, for example, if you have a question, let's even say smart or platform, everyone knows Jim or Paul. Shell, you can go to them with your question, they will reply. Shell is not the name you would think of at first.
Okay, let's introduce Ken now to the world.
Hey, what up, guys?
Hey, world,
That's SuperKen.
SuperKen. At SuperKen. Yeah.
But I think that is what you're saying, Jim. That they need to be more out there. It's not that they're doing a bad job, not at all.
No, I don't think they're doing a bad job. I think GDG is doing a really great job. I especially like the fact that they've spread out all throughout the Philippines. So that's cool. That's important. Maybe in terms of driving up the level of excitement, that might be more of a personality thing. So anyway, that's just a theory of mine.
Right. Oh well, we'll get there. I mean, like it's only been a year. 2012. So
it's cool. I think 2012 is the warm up to what is going to be a super exciting 2013.
As long as we get beyond December 21, 2012.
Yeah, but like we know that it was last year July.
Why don't we have really?
Yeah,
but yeah, the Mayan calendar didn't include everything
It didn't reboot the world.
But the Mayan calendar didn't include Gangnam Style either.
Okay. No, I suggest we have a December 21 hackathon then.
Oh yeah, like end of the world hackathon.
Yeah.
We're gonna
do
start
a December 20 hackathon.
Let's start on the 12th.
Okay, if you do a December 21st hackathon, that should be something to solve traffic problems in Manila, because no one is going to arrive at the location with the traffic on that day.
Doomsday, the theme, Doomsday. Which incidentally was the theme for Game Jam 2 years ago.
2 years ago?
Yeah. That's another hackathon that was under the radar, but actually produced a lot of good stuff.
It's from IGDA?
Yeah, IGDA's Game Jam. Yeah. And I think attention needs to be placed on that.
We also had 2 or 3 weeks ago the Unity
Game Jam.
Unity Game Jam. We had that with Unity Technologies and with the College of St. Benilde. Benilde actually has a game developer course. If you're studying and you want to be a game developer, you can take that as your degree. And they're all powered by Unity, the Unity 3D game engine.
Pete and I joined like a game development competition, and we got smoked by Benilde.
Really?
They were awesome.
Nice.
Okay, with the hackathons, because we have only 5 minutes anymore, what I would like to see next year coming from the Philippines is more things like Tag Huddle. And what I mean is, I like Tag Huddle. I don't think it's perfect, but it's a great concept, and what I like about it is, as far as I'm concerned, I want to see from hackathons. Something you could build with 2 or 3 people over 6 to 12 hours. It's not perfect, but you've launched something. Like beer spots, what you presented.
It's got value.
Yeah.
Right? I think there's at least one app out there. It's called MRT Tracker. That was a result of a GDG hackathon. And I was there when it was first pitched.
Awesome.
So I've seen the growth from the hackathon phase to it becoming more and more refined, and now it's an app on the iTunes Store and the Google Play Store.
Nice.
I next year in 2013, I would love to see more things like that happen. That even like for once, let's forget the business model. You know what? Just build it, put it on a server, and let's see. It's an experience. You have made it happen. You get feedback and build it, launch it.
You know what's a cool thing about Tag Huddle? Nico Bautista, the one who developed it, he was on WebGeek Dev Cup, and he was showing up his app, and then like at the end he said, go to taghuddle.com, you can see all the aggregated.
He approached me to officially launch the app.
He just joined to showcase Tag Huddle, and he won the hackathon.
Luckily, he also won.
Yeah, smart guy. Hey, hi Nico. Stay safe in SF.
It was a one-man team.
One-man team.
And he had the fedora.
Okay. Yeah, we need more people like him. We should actually feature people like him. To inspire,
Nico is awesome, seriously.
Nico will definitely be invited next year on the podcast as well here. So, I don't know. Thanks for coming, guys.
Hey, thank you.
Thanks Jim, for tuning in. I hope it wasn't too early for you.
And anything they'd like to say to close before we finally...
Up to you guys.
Next year, we have a lot of events, workshop, conference, meetup, and hackathons.
And don't forget to follow John's Startup Digest. He's curating that. And it's a good source for events, news for events that are coming up, and
and I think also from Cebu, also supporting the Startup Digest. They want to expand it in Cebu.
That's good news.
Like Tech Talks?
Claire Castro, I think.
That's good news.
Yeah, good.
Guys, watch out for Webgeek 2013.
Yeah, if you don't yet, the developer scene, one of the main locations covering most platforms in the Philippines, that's of course John Arce's Webgeek. Follow that as well. And Jim, final words from you?
Yeah, I'd just like to say one thing, and I hope you guys get to free the PH domain in 2013.
I think we will have to invite you.
I hope you'll be back in Manila when we talk about that.
When you're back in Manila, the same Wednesday, the BobberyCast, Bombin, Joel, and what was it you wanted? Arm wrestling?
Armwrestling.ph.
The arm wrestling for .ph cup.
So on that note,
we're going for beer.ph.
I'll get beer spots. Yeah, beer spots.
You should make it happen.
Yeah.
Just do it as an exercise. Make it happen. Launch it. Feedback, questions, issues will come up, and I think from the hackathons the next thing is launch, and then again founders get confronted with new issues.
It's kind of funny how I did beer spots in Startup Weekend, and people were like, "Oh, dude, what happened to beer spots?"
Of course,
they were like really interested in it. So I'm like thinking,
Well, we said it before on the pilot of the BobberyCast with Charo. It has beer in the name.
Yeah.
Who cares about the business model? It's beer.
That's what I said. Like, no, Startup Weekend is weird. I didn't knew it was like entrepreneurship. I thought it would be like full like on hackathon. Yeah. And then, man, I need to think about business stuff.
Nah, like that is a focus. I like when Startup Weekend, the guys always say it's a business. But if you listen to Jay's intro, it's not just about a business. One of the things you will hear over the weekend, like from mentors, is feedback, and they will give you questions you've never thought of.
Yeah. No, that's true.
Take that with in your next venture. Take that with when you're thinking of that brilliant idea you want to pitch to ID Space or to Kickstarter or Mile Off Wireless Wings. Because they will ask you those questions. And you will already have thought of them. Whether after the weekend you launch or not, it's great. But there is also something, it's not because teams work together and get on for 3 days, that 6 months later you still want to be in the same team.
You're right. The mentorship is
it's learning.
A really big
the whole
thing.
experience is learning. Everything.
It's like it's the same as with a hackathon. If at the end of the hackathon you have not finished, it doesn't matter. It's the feedback you get. The hackathons, you have professional coders who are hopefully so much further in their knowledge and everything.
What does that mean, like hopefully?
Well, you hope that they will give you great feedback on your code quality and that you will take that with. The same happens with Startup Weekend. It's all about the feedback you get.
Yeah, no, that's true. I kind of enjoyed, having lots of mentors. I actually talked to a lot of people, about the ideas, and they were all very, very, dude, what's the term I'm looking for? They were very...
Yeah, well, actually, hackathons are a good place for entrepreneurs to look for developers.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of headhunters approaching the event, and
we try to tell the guys that want to sponsor from Accenture and all that. Wait a minute, why do you want to sponsor Startup Weekend?
Venture capitalist went to me and talked about beer spots a little bit.
Oh, that's normal. Yeah. That's normal. That's something that will happen in startups.
But it's kind of scary.
It happens at Startup Weekends. You get headhunters. You have companies who come to talent scout. Same with hackathons. But anyway, guys.
All right.
Thanks to New Media Factory, NMFnetwork.tv for hosting the BobberyCast. Thanks to Jim for calling in. Thanks, John. Thanks, Ken.
Thanks.
All right.
And thanks to Beyond the Box for having us here every week.
Okay. See you.
All right.
Bye.